I'm Fabian, and in this comprehensive guide I will show you step by step how you can create a GitHub account, create an SSH key, link your SSH key to your GitHub account, and 4. Finally test if your SSH key is working. Let's get started. GitHub is a service that allows you to upload, host and manage your code using Git. Git is a version control system. GitHub and Git sound similar, but they are not the same thing or even created by the same company. For this guide to work flawlessly, you need to have Git installed on your machine. I won't have time to cover it in this guide, but there are more than capable people out there who will explain it to you just as good or even better than I can. Go to GitHub and create an account. During the setup, it will prompt you to enter an email address. This needs to be a real email since it will be used to identify your contributions. If you are privacy conscious or just don't want your email address to be publicly available, make sure you tick the following 2 boxes on the email settings page after you have signed in. Keep my email addresses private and block command line pushes that expose my email. Having these 2 options enabled will prevent you from accidentally exposing your email address when working with Git and GitHub. You may also notice an email address under the Keep My Email Addresses Private option. This is your private GitHub email address. If you plan to use this, make note of it now because you will need it when we set up Git in the next step. For Git to work properly, we need to let it know who we are so that it can link a local Git user, you, to GitHub. When you work on a team, this allows each individual member to see who has committed each line of code. The following commands configure Git. Be sure to enter your own information inside the quotes, but include the quotation marks. If you opted to use the private GitHub email address, the second command will look something like this. GitHub changed the default branch on new repositories from master to main. Change the default branch for Git using this command. To enable colorful output with Git, type this. You'll also likely want to set your default branch reconciliation behavior to merging. To verify that things are working properly, enter these commands and verify whether the output matches your name and email address. If you are a macOS user, run these 2 commands to tell Git to ignore .ds_store files, which are automatically created when you use Finder to look into a folder. .ds_store files are invisible to the user and hold custom attributes or metadata like thumbnails for the folder, and if you don't configure Git to ignore them, pesky .ds_store files will show up in your commits. An SSH key is a cryptographically secure identifier. It's like a long password that's used to identify your machine. First, we need to see if you have an ED25519 algorithm SSH key already installed. Type this into the terminal and check the output with the information below. If a message appears in the console containing the text "no such file or directory", then you do not yet have an ED25519 SSH key and you will need to create one. If no such message has appeared in the console output, you can proceed to step 4. To create a new SSH key, run the following command inside your terminal. When it prompts you for a location to save the generated key, just press enter. Same goes for the password. You can set one if you want to, but it's not necessary. Now you need to tell GitHub what your SSH key is so that you can push code without having to type in your password every time. Log into GitHub and click on your profile picture in the top right corner. Then click on Settings in the drop-down menu. Next, on the left-hand side, click SSH and GPG keys. Then click the green button in the top right corner that says New SSH key. Name your key something that is descriptive enough for you to remember what device this SSH key came from. For example, Linux, Flag, Ubuntu. Leave this window open while you do the next steps. Now you need to copy your public SSH key. To do this, we're going to use a command called cat to read the file to the console. Highlight and copy the entire output from the command. If you follow the instructions above, the output will likely begin with SSH flag ED25519 and end with your username at hostname. Now, go back to GitHub in your browser window and paste the key you copied into the key field. Keep the key type as authentication key and then click Add SSH key. You're done! You've successfully added your SSH key. When you test your connection, you'll need to authenticate this action using your password, which is the SSH key passphrase we've created earlier. First, open your terminal and enter the following. Now you may see a warning like this. Next, verify that the fingerprint in the message you see matches GitHub's public key fingerprint. If it does, then type yes. Last, verify that the resulting message contains your username. Don't let GitHub's lack of providing shell access trouble you. You've successfully added your SSH key. If the output doesn't correctly match up, then try going through these steps again or ask for help. You did it! If you've watched this video this far, you're one of the few people who are able to start and actually finish something. Luckily, my newsletter consists exactly of those types of people. You can subscribe to it for absolutely free using the first link in the video description down below.